Let's stop sugarcoating this. Baltimore does not have a momentary crisis. Baltimore has a repeating cycle, and everybody in power keeps acting like it's some kind of surprise. Now, let's talk about the man at the center of it, Brandon Scott. Young mayor, big promises, reform energy, talks a good game about violence reduction, investments, and community healing. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Talking about change is not the same thing as delivering it. Now, let's jump on crime and public safety for 1 second. Baltimore has seen drops in homicide numbers in the recent periods. Yes, absolutely. That is real. I will not take that from them. Credit where it's due. But let's not play games with the numbers. See, when a city has seen one of the most violent situations in America for years, a dip does not mean that the problem is solved. It means the floor moved slightly. Y'all feel where I'm going with this? People in Baltimore don't live in statistics. They live in neighborhoods where gunshots are still shocking. Police response still feels inconsistent. Trust in leadership is shaky at best. So when politicians celebrate too early, it doesn't sound like leadership. It sounds more like disconnect. So let's bring this together a little bit and talk about leadership versus the excuse. And here is where the conversation gets uncomfortable, because city leadership, including Mayor Scott, often points to systematic issues, state level constraints, federal funding gaps, and historical inequality. Now, here's the interesting thing. All of what I just said is 100% real. That happens. But here's the harsh truth. At some point, explanations start sounding like excuses, because regular people don't get to say, hey, my situation is complicated, so results don't matter. They still have to show up. They still have to perform. They still have to produce, or there's no food, or food coming across the table, or a roof over their head. That's just the way it is. So let me ask you this. Why is government the only place where intentions get more credit than outcomes? The accountability gap. Baltimore has an accountability gap. Baltimore has had a scandal, corruption, dysfunction throughout the years, and this is not something that is new. From past administrations to ongoing structural problems, Baltimore City has built a reputation that is hard to shake. And what people are tired of is this. Every single new leader acts like they inherited the problem, but nobody fully owns fixing it. So let me say this about Mayor Scott. I know a lot of y'all give me criticism because I give him criticism, but you have to admit that the criticism is just, and it's pointed in the right directions, because here is the bottom line. Mayor Scott came in promising a new era of politics and change in Baltimore. So here's my question. At what point does I inherited this mess turn into this is now my responsibility? And I have yet to see that type of action in City Hall in the last 3 mayors, because leadership is not tested when things are easy. Leadership is tested when the system is broken and you either fix the problem, or, as we've seen in the past, you become part of the problem. So a lot of Baltimoreans are frustrated. And so you ask, where does the frustration come from? And let's just be real about why people are fed up. They hear speeches, right? But they don't feel safer. Remember, we talked about that crumb effect with Elijah Cummings in Baltimore? This is what I'm talking about. They see initiatives. Here's what they don't see. They don't see transformation happening in their community. They are told progress is happening. The reality is I don't even know how to say this. Their reality, what they see every single day they step out their door, it says otherwise. So that gap between what is being said from a podium and what is being felt in the community is where trust in leadership, trust in government, trust in the people elected dies. And once that trust dies, you don't have a policy problem. You have a legitimacy problem. Now, again, this is where a lot of people say, Keon, you're too harsh. Keon, you're going too far. But I'm going to give you the hard truth. And here it is, straight up, no chaser. Baltimore City specifically does not need any more slogans. It does not need any more press conferences. It does not need any more. It doesn't need anybody else saying we're working on it, right? Nobody wants to hear that anymore. At least I don't. At least the citizens of Baltimore don't. The old people don't. Nobody wants to hear that. It needs results that regular people can feel without reading a report. Because here's the thing. If leadership cannot translate policy into reality, then you got to ask the question, like, folks, what are we really doing? So here's the bottom line. This isn't about hating on Brandon Scott, right? This is about expectations that nobody is seeing. If you take the job, you got to take the weight. Somebody told me that a long time ago when I went into management. If you take the management job, you got to take the weight of management that comes along with it. And right now, I'm going to be truthful with you. Baltimore feels like a city that's still carrying its problems while leadership is still trying to explain them. Yeah, that's not how this works. And the people, let's just be fake. Let's not be fake about it, right? The people are done listening. They want to see some action. So here's what I need you to do. Stop sitting on the sidelines like this doesn't affect you. If you live in Baltimore or anywhere watching this mess play out, you need to start demanding more than speeches and press conferences. It is about looking at who you're voting for, what they are talking about, and the moment that they don't give you what you are looking for, or they don't keep their promise, get them out of office. Hold these leaders accountable. Show up to community meetings, and do me a favor, ask real questions. Don't let nobody, I gotta be clean about how I say this. Don't let anybody, and I mean anybody, hide behind excuses while your city deals with the consequences, and those consequences are landing on your front stoop, okay? Because silence is exactly what keeps broken systems like Baltimore alive. And if you're tired of it, I'm talking like really tired of it, all I'm asking you to do is prove it. Speak up, get involved, and make it clear that good enough is no longer acceptable. Because at the end of the day, not a doggone thing changes until people stop accepting what's broken. You heard it right here from Keon on Something to Talk About.